Well, thank you, Bonnie. I always love your energy. I always love how you meet and greet people, and that great voice of yours, and all the wonderful things that you're doing over here in Get Real Water, or Get Real Abundance. So tonight, folks, we're going to kind of jump right in this. We got such a special guest, and I'm so excited to have him on the call tonight. I've got to know Dr. Glenn very, very well. We've had lots of conversations. I've met him in person. We have a lot of fun talking on the phone, and he's a real an addition to our company and the knowledge that he brings. And this is kind of what we did. We went out and I asked a bunch of the distributors, if you could ask an expert about our product, about our concentrate, what would you ask them? And of course, Dr. Glenn is with us tonight. He's going to answer these questions. He is our Chief Health and Science Officer. And Dr. Glenn, welcome to the call tonight.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, let's just jump right into it, Doc. Here was the most asked question. What is ionized water?
Well, we probably ought to define what an ion is first, and you can understand ionized water more thoroughly. An ion is anything that has a charge, positive or negative. Now, a positive charge is going to be extra protons versus electrons. Anything with a negative charge is going to have an excess of electrons versus protons. So protons are bad, electrons are good, and the proton-rich water is what we want to avoid, and electron-rich water is what we want to drink. Now, ionized water can go either way. But when we speak about ionized water, we're speaking about a negatively charged electron-rich water. These extra electrons are necessary and available for body processes and to scavenge the bad free radicals or the positive charged free radicals. Ionized water that we're drinking is electron-rich, but purified water, this purified drinking water that most people think is so good for them, is actually proton-rich, acidic, and positively charged, which is really liquid free radical.
Wow, I never knew any of that. So
scary, isn't it? It's pretty scary.
It's crazy how much we don't know about our water. So let me ask you this: what's the difference between regular tap water, alkaline water, and now negatively charged ionized water?
Well, the tap water is typically a pH 6.5 to 7. They dump a lot of chemicals in to kill the bugs, and then they have to, which is highly acidic, and you can't pump that through pipes. So then they have to put positively charged just minerals and that sort of thing in it to bring the pH back up to neutral so it doesn't eat the pipes up. Well, it's still full of chlorine, possibly fluoride, among other nasty chemicals and particles, and just tap water is not good to drink. And then alkaline water, well, alkaline water is just anything above a pH of 7. Now, I like to say I can throw rocks in water and make it alkaline. Well, that's literally true. I can grind those rocks up, throw that in water. Those minerals will alkalize that water. Doesn't mean your body's going to absorb any of it. At least it won't leach minerals from your body. You could throw sodium bicarbonate or baking soda in water and make it alkaline. Doesn't mean it's healthy for you. Now, ionized water, on the other hand, that's the healthy water because of the extra electrons. That's where the magic really begins. That ionization restructures the water in its own the molecules' attractions to themselves, and it starts to cluster hexagonally rather than pentagonally. And if you want to know more about all of that, if you're a science geek, you could get Gerald Pollack's book. He's a professor at the University of Washington, did some beautiful work on water in his book called The Fourth Phase of Water. It's interesting is water has ruined a lot of scientific careers because anybody that questions certain dogma in science, they get ruined. So Gerald did a very good job of dotting all his I's and crossing all his T's before he started to release that information. Very interesting read.
Well, now that we know the difference between these different types of water. Why should we drink this water instead of the others? What's the benefits here, Doc?
Well, it's an acid world out there that we've created for ourselves. We've got all these radio waves, radar, smog, microwave with 2G, 3G, and 4G, and now we're coming into 5G. Oh my gosh! And these are all ionizing radiations that are damaging our body. They're creating free radicals and causing tissue damage. Now, for even forced air heating in your house and your TV and your cell phones and your computers. These are dumping positive ions in the air and around you and absorbing into your body. And here's another one that can rock your boat, even cooked food. You cook food to death, it becomes acidic, it's very positively charged, so the best way to eat food is as raw as you can. But why we should be drinking this instead of other water, of course, is the extra electrons. Remember, we're being stripped of electrons from the environment, particularly the one that we have created. An interesting thing is we're the only animal that engineers its own environment, and we didn't do a very good job of it. We're really damaging ourselves. So the reason for a really good reason for drinking ionized water is to try to counteract what the world is doing to us. It's a mess out there.
With all these unique properties that you just talked about, can I drink too much of this? How much is too much? If I put it in everything I have, is that too much?
Well, no, as long as you're using it as directed. Now, you can do too much of anything. You can drink too much of water. That's any kind of water. You can drink too much of it and create problems in your body. So let's not go even down that road. Let's use some common sense. And I think I know what your question is, but I just wanted to clarify. Too much of anything is bad. But as Americans, we think, well, hey, if one is good, 10 is better. Well, that's not true. Use this product as directed. Because you can do too much of the concentrate. Real water, you can't do too much of that because it's already diluted. But the concentrate, in fact, I know of someone that was using home delivery real water and then squirting the concentrate in it, and she ended up getting sick. And I even spoke with the inventor of the concentrate. And he said, yes, when he was doing his early experimentations on himself, he kept upping his dosage, and he got to a point that he became nauseous, headaches, dizziness, that sort of thing. So, yeah, please use it as directed. More is not better. So, to answer your question,
when we talk in that direction, what's the proper way of doing it then? Instead of squirting, I don't want to squirt 20 squirts in 4 ounces of water. What do you suggest, and what is the suggested deal on the amount of the concentrate?
Okay, it's 1 milliliter per half liter, or basically 16 or 8 ounces. I misspoke. I'm sorry. 2 milliliters per half liter, 1 milliliter per 8 ounces. So if you have a half liter bottle, and this is what I'll do if I'm traveling and all, I'll have a real water bottle, because you can reuse that bottle. It's BPA free. And I'll put 4 squirts, which is 2 milliliters. Remember, the dispenser head is 1/2 milliliter per dispenser. Every time you squirt that, it's 1/2 milliliter. So now you put 4 squirts in a 1/2 liter bottle, or a 500 milliliter bottle, and your ratio is right. In a liter bottle, of course, that would be 8 squirts, which is then 4 milliliters. So that's the ratio.
If I'm following you correctly, then what you're talking about is the ratio. Now, can I do the ratio 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a day? As long as I stay at the correct ratio, how many times can I put this product into something that I drink?
All day long. There's no limit. As long as you keep it the same ratio, it's like asking, well, how much. Before we even thought about ionized water and the concentrate isn't a part of the picture, that'd be like asking, well, how much water can I drink? the rule of thumb is your body weight in pounds. Half of that is your target minimum for the day in water. So if you weigh, let's say, 100 pounds, that's you. 100 pounds,
plus
50 ounces. So half of your body weight, 50 ounces is your minimum target. Now, I do pretty well, but I don't always get to my minimum target. But I'm typically close to 3 liters before I even leave the house. And, I weigh 150 pounds.
With the answer of ratio then answered, how about the next question that popped up a lot? Is it okay for all ages of humans to consume the product?
I would caution, unfortunately, there's more money in research to research expensive drugs. So we have to go outside the country for most of the research that we have here. And there really isn't anything to reflect a yes or no answer on that. I would say just be cautious up to, let's say, 3-4 years old. Do a half a dose for children, for those young children. And then after that age, normal water is fine. I know Brent Jones' children have been on it from day one, but drinking regular real water. So as long as you've got your ratio right, there should be no problem at all.
Well, it's funny that we had a young man on the call last week who's 11 years old, and he's a little athlete, and he loves this water. He drinks nothing but this water all the time, and he's got a good little story. It's fun to hear him.
Yeah, I wouldn't hesitate to allow it, but from a professional position, we have to have our little caveats and our disclaimers. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to point out too. Unique properties of this product, and saying use as directed, but we are the only product out there that has stabilized ionization. Now, you've probably heard of these other machines, these ionizing machines, and they work well. They actually produce an ionized water, alkaline too, but I de-emphasize alkalinity because that's such a small aspect of the health aspects. It's the electrons. Now, the problem with the electrons in the water, or the charge in the water that comes from those machines, is it's unstable. It goes away quickly. Now, you can cool it, put it in the fridge, and it may last a few days, but the whole time your oxidation reduction potential is diminishing. So you need to drink that fresh out of the machine to actually realize its maximal benefit. The beauty of real water is it's stable. You can mix this water and it'll still be stable for more than a few days. I wouldn't recommend that because it's exposed to carbon dioxide, and that starts to create acid in any water. But you can, when I'm traveling, like I said, I have my concentrate and I have my empty bottle, real water bottle, because they're not going to let that bottle full of water on the airplane. They let an empty bottle on the airplane, and I'm good. I'm set.
That works. Hey, so speaking of some research, I know that there's been studies that have been done on the effects of this, and people have been asking, where do I go to see a good study that's been done? And I know you brought something up earlier today when we were talking about this, some specific studies in China, wherever it was, that had produced some evidence of how powerful this negative ionized water is for the human body.
Well, it wasn't so much China. It was more Japan and Korea had done a lot of research. And let me say this, too, that anybody can benefit from more electrons and free radical scavenging, young and old. But, as far as research goes, there's quite a bit out there, but, there's less than you'd really think. And only thing I can come up with is because you have to go outside the country to find most of that research, because in this country, everything's dictated by the dollar, and guess what? There's no dollar to make people well. It's all about the drug, making an expensive drug. But the Internet has information on it, and there'll be information there that can push you either way. but I would suggest you go to things like PubMed and that sort of thing to actually look at the research. I've read some fairly decent interpretations, but that would just recently I uncovered one little gem, and it was done in this country, and it was published back in 2016. Actually, it's not a brand new study. May 31st, in fact. So we're just about 3 years old on this thing, and let me quote that. Let me pull this up. Here we go. A quote from their conclusions was, alkaline and electrolyzed water have been shown to exert a suppressive effect on free radical level in living organisms, thereby resulting in disease prevention, various biological effects such as anti-diabetic and antioxidant action, DNA protection effects, and growth-stimulating activities were documented. So that's pretty thorough there. I think we could all benefit from those ideas. I know I like that. I would like to have all that applied to me, and I have been. I've been drinking ionized water for right about 20 years now. But
that's a long time. Well, you look at all these benefits and all these effects. Now, one thing that the general public out there is really has tried to really wrap their arms around is this energy. Where am I going to get my energy from? There's energy drinks, there's pre-workout drinks, there's workout drinks, there's post-workout drinks, there's things to get you up in the morning, there's things to get you. Now, somebody asked the question, is it possible that this negative ionized water can give you energy? Is that possible, Doc?
Absolutely. I always like to back up from things. Let's understand what makes the world go around, and that's electron exchange, ion exchange. When we eat food, our body breaks that down to its molecular components so that we can exchange electrons and ions and burn that as energy. With that, though, we're producing some positive charges, so that's why we need the clean water to help scavenge that and get it out of our bodies. But yes, you can absolutely increase your energy by drinking ionized water. And also to be careful about what you put in your mouth. We want to be able to facilitate electron or ion exchange, and you don't get that from potato chips and ice cream.
Some people think they do.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And then you have to drink a whole lot more ionized water because of the diabetes.
Well, I know as we keep talking about these benefits, and if we take supplements with this water, does that have an effect? Or even if we take medications, I've had the question asked by a handful of people now, what if I'm taking medication? Does the negative ionized water cause any effect with medications that I'm on?
Well, the vitamins that you touched on, I wouldn't hesitate to commingle the water with vitamins. They're on the same playing field. But medications, on the other hand, these are pretty complex synthetic chemicals, also known as medicines and drugs. But these things can interact with anything. They don't occur in nature. And I say just be on the safe side. Leave a pre-medication window of 30 minutes to an hour where you're not drinking any ionized water. And then a couple hours after you've taken your medication, avoid taking any ionized water. It could enhance the drug. It could diminish the drug. Just be safe, and let's not mix extra electrons with some sort of concoction that a lab came up with that is altering your body against its will.
Well, it's funny. I'm fortunate right now. I'm not on any type of medications, but I do take supplements. And that's funny that you say don't hesitate to take this with my supplements, because what I found when I take them with my supplements, the things I take, I about 20 minutes into that, I really feel good. I got that little burst. I got that little alertness. I feel really good about it, and almost like I feel confident. And so I got to attribute that to the absorption that happens while I take these other products with this ionized water. I'm assuming that's correct. Would that be a correct statement?
Yeah. Well, you hydrate better with this water because of the ionization creates a different structuring, which is how the molecules attract to themselves. And Gerald Pollack really did an excellent job explaining the hexagonal nature of a negatively charged water, ionized water. Now, our body recognizes the hexagonal shape. It doesn't recognize pentagonal. In fact, there's multiple cases out there of somebody drinking in excess of a gallon of distilled water, and they're still dehydrated. Well, how can that be? They're drinking over a gallon of water a day. Well, the body isn't absorbing it because it doesn't recognize it. You know, sometimes you drink water and it'll slosh around your stomach for a while. Now, have you noticed you can guzzle a liter of real water and it won't slash around for very long? It just sucks right into your body. It's because of the...
That's absolutely correct. I've noticed that now if I go back to drinking a bottled water because I didn't have the concentrate with me, it tastes a little drier, and it doesn't quench my thirst. I've noticed that every single time now that I've been consuming this product every single day. I go back to the regular stuff, and it just doesn't seem to do anything.
Yeah, because this hydrates you, and the other stuff doesn't. Your body has to work to try to use some of that water. It's crazy, you know, that the whole purified water thing came from industry because they needed a very clean water that had nothing but hydrogen oxygen for chemistry and for industry and to create what they create in industry, plastics and all that sort of thing. They couldn't have anything in the water besides hydrogen and oxygen. Well, our body needs more than just hydrogen and oxygen. In fact, when that water structures the way I described, it becomes H3O2 rather than H2O. And we don't have time to get into an explanation of that. In fact, I've got a video on the website that I get into some of that. There's an interview with Amy and I that's videotaped, and there's some graphics and all that are put up.
Well, listen, Doc, we are at the bottom of the hour, and I can't thank you enough for your time and being on this phone call with us tonight and explaining and answering these questions, which you did a thorough job of. And, folks, this is going to be taped. You can go back and listen to this over and over. And we've got some good news coming down the road. Dr. Glenn has given his okay to start doing this on a regular basis. So, Dr. Glenn, we really appreciate the time and effort you spend with us. And look forward to the next announcement of having a doctor's call again, where he might have a guest. He might be talking or lecturing on some portion of this product. And look forward to sometime at the end of the month. I think we're going to do another one before the month's out. Is that correct, Dr. Glenn?
Yeah, that's the plan. And what we're planning on doing is I'll go through the miraculous properties of ionized water and explain that. Because I'm sure if people are reading that book, they're probably scratching their head on a lot of things and wondering what did that mean, you know. So
yeah, I almost have to take a class.
yeah. There's times I even have to go scratch my head and say, let me look that one up. I forgot that.
Well, listen, again, Doc, we thank you so much for being on this phone call tonight. We really appreciate you. And, folks, that wraps it up for tonight. We appreciate everybody that was on the phone call tonight, and we look forward to going out and sharing these stories, sharing this opportunity with other people. And God bless everybody tonight. And, Bonnie, I will turn it back to you.
Well, let me say one more thing, that everybody, there's so much more to this story. Hang tight. There's a lot more information coming that I think will just kind of blow your mind that we didn't know what most people didn't know this a long time ago, and most people still don't. But hang tight. There's a lot more coming.
Thanks again, Doc. Bonnie, back to you.